Isabelle Huppert is here. She has appeared in over 100 films over the past 4 decades. A.O. Scott of the New York Times recently posed this question: Isabelle Huppert, great actress or world's greatest actress? She starred in 2 films in 2016 that have earned her much acclaim. Here's a look at Maya Hansen-Løve's Things to Come.
Et vous, madame, vous dites rien, vous n'êtes pas concernée.
Ah non, mais moi, je suis pas là pour faire de la politique, je suis là pour faire quoi aux élèves que ça intéresse.
Et lorsque je l'ai rencontré, votre mère distribuait des tracts pour le PC.
Ok, j'ai été communiste pendant 3 ans. Y'a pas de honte. Très bien.
La classe prépa, normal sup, tout ça, c'est grâce à toi. Je voulais te le dire.
My daddy m'explain, so they fly.
C'est son chouchou, papa, tu sais.
Ah, le fils qu'elle aurait aimé avoir. Celui qui est tout le contraire de moi, tant sur le plan physique que sur le plan intellectuel.
Excusez-moi, je dois partir. C'est ma mère, elle est folle, je dois m'occuper d'elle.
C'est la 3e fois cette semaine et à chaque fois pour rien.
Il était mignon comme tout, le petit pompier qui s'est occupé de moi.
Me dis pas que t'es encore allé t'acheter des fringues. Ça tient depuis longtemps?
Depuis un certain temps. On voulait te soumettre le projet de remaniement de ton manuel.
Une couverture plus moderne, plus agressive, qui accroche le regard.
On dirait des pubs pour bonbons Haribo. De toute façon, nous les femmes, après 40 ans, on est bonnes à acheter à la poubelle.
Je suis sûr que tu vas retrouver quelqu'un, y a pas de raison.
Tu fais comme si tout allait continuer comme avant. T'es sur quelle planète? Réveille-toi! C'est pas possible, ce chat. Il faut absolument que j'arrive à m'en débarrasser.
Pourquoi tu le donnes pas?
Personne n'en veut. Un vieux chat noir, obèse en plus.
Je veux bien aller à des manifs, signer des pétitions. Ça remet pas en question ton mode de vie.
Mon mode de vie bourgeois, tu veux dire? Quand j'y pense, j'ai retrouvé ma liberté. Une liberté totale. C'est extraordinaire.
And here's the other film in which she stars in. It is Paul Verhoeven's Elle. And here is the trailer for that.
J'ai quelque chose à vous dire. Ah, j'ai été agressée chez moi.
En vrai?
Et tu vas bien?
Un piper sick. Très bien. Attendez 5 minutes avant d'ouvrir.
Ça rend notre version démo quasiment injouable.
Mais le fait est, Kurt, qui est ici la patronne, c'est moi. Dis-moi, Kurt, il peut vraiment pas m'encadrer ou c'est moi?
Ah oui, il te hait.
On devrait être encore ensemble. Tiens, quelqu'un t'a cabossé ton pare-choc.
Quelqu'un.
Salut. J'ai plus envie de ça, de cette situation, de ces mensonges. Tu sais que j'ai vécu une expérience très traumatisante.
Si je te parais insensible, je suis désolé.
Un rôdeur?
Je l'ai pris sur le vif. Il était accroupi dans une buisson en train d'observer votre maison. Je me suis approché, il a filé tout de suite.
Bah oui, il faut changer toutes les serrures, en haut et en bas.
Ça va, toi?
J'ai fait une chute à vélo.
Mais il y a un fou qui rôde.
Non mais les fous, j'ai l'habitude, c'est ma spécialité. C'était bon, c'était comment? Tu pirates les ordinateurs perso de tous les employés.
Et c'est grave comme infraction. Tu mets ton nez dans les affaires des autres. Tu tombes sur les trucs pas nets, hein.
Je porterai aucun jugement. Vous pensez peut-être même pas vous en tirer après ce que vous m'avez fait.
Plus dangereuse, Michel, c'est tout de même toi.
I am pleased to have Isabelle Huppert back at this table. Welcome. First of all, just start about there is something about you that all people who love film are fascinated. I mean, it is the diversity of the roles. It is the emotional quality that you bring to the portrayal. It is what? What is it?
I think it's also all the great directors I've been working with. And the possibility I had to tell, women's story, complete women's story, women's surviving women's destiny.
Yeah, I think that's
Yes,
it.
I think it
Yeah.
was a great privilege. That's what happened to me in most of my films.
A great privilege to work with a director who was telling stories about women's survival.
I think so. Yeah. Yes, I was. Most of the films I've been doing, were evolving around a female central character that you follow throughout all sorts of events, positive or negative, and just being true and being real and being sometimes nasty just because the situations are nasty. And yes, and being survivors.
And you look for those kind of roles.
Well, they look for me, actually.
That's right. They look for you. That's
Yeah.
the point. That's the point.
But
those
it's
roles
a great
look
chance.
for you, and you are the only person. There are not many that you can think about.
Well, I'm
that
sure
are so.
there's so
Well,
many
I know
others.
there's some. I'm not, but that are so identified with those roles. And it is the years. It is the multiplicity and the complexity of each of those roles.
Yes, they all have so multiple layers, and they never choose to be either nice or not nice. They're not necessarily likable persons, nor they are unlikable persons. The situations are sometimes likable, sometimes non-likable, and that's what makes the individual is the product of situations, whether it is historical, political, sociological, and I was also privileged to work with people like Chabrol or Haneke, or who want to render. We have a vision of the world, no matter how good it is, no matter how bad it is, just how true it is and how real it is. And I've been just the interpretation of that vision in most of my films.
You love acting.
I do.
You love it.
I do. I love acting because I don't think I act. That's why I love acting. I think most of the time people think that acting have a certain idea of where acting is. I might have a different idea. I mean, for me, acting is not acting. It's just more being, not trying to indicate, just trying to be.
Yep.
It's very organic.
Yep. So how do you do that? That's my point.
I concentrate. It's a lot of concentration. It's also forgetting about a certain reality around you and just being immersed into the present time. I think that's what movie making is about, digging the present moment, the present time. That's why you can't anticipate acting. You can think about it, you can dream about it, but you can't anticipate about it, preparing because it's about, it's there, it's here and now, like some philosopher said.
But do you live the roles after you leave them?
I don't.
No.
I don't even leave them as I do them, actually.
You don't?
Not really.
So you get to the stage or you get to the shoot and you become...
The other.
The other.
And the other become me, yes.
And the other becomes you.
Yeah.
So it's a merger of you and the character.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's a great pleasure. It's very pleasurable. That's why no matter what you do, whether, again, you do very painful situations, very emotional situations, very dramatic situations, it's very exciting. And there isn't the pleasure of doing it. I mean, the pleasure of doing it is not the same as the spectator,
Is this the best time for you? 100 films. But here you have 2 films that people are noticing in America. Mm-hmm. That's pleasing.
It is very pleasing, very pleasing. Yeah. Last night I was awarded through the New York Film Critics Circle for both films, and I was amazed, actually. I felt so grateful, and I mean, those are 2 French-speaking films, and when your work is being acknowledged, understood, like it is, in a different country from yours, it feels also like that's what you make films for, to put down the borders, and to create circulation between people, between countries. It's very, very rewarding.
Let's talk about the 2 movies. Tell me about your character in Elle.
She's a multiple character. She's many persons in one person, and that's why this is why also the character was so, I wouldn't say fascinating, but so interesting, because she's very complete. She has such multiple layers, as any individual has multiple layers. Saying, everybody is either, or not either, but let's say a mother or a daughter or a son or a father or a man or woman of power, a lover, a wife, and that's what she is. So she's really everything, She's sometimes strong, sometimes weak, sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. She's always brave, I think, and she's always fearless. That's what makes me like her.
And is the film about her revenge or something else?
I think both. The film is about her revenge. She certainly has a plan, but the film is also about a quest, something that she wants to seek through that revenge, through that event.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it's likely to everybody to make his own interpretation, and
of
this
what
is
she's
also
looking
what
for.
Yeah, what she's looking for. Verhoeven says himself that you have many gaps in the film, that it's likely to everybody to fill up those gaps. I think the film gives you informations, not explanations. It does not really explain. It just informs you, and then it's like a mosaic. Gradually, you have a woman's life, with where she comes from, what tragedy initiated her childhood. Obviously, she's the daughter of a serial killer.
Yes, she's the daughter of a serial killer.
She is. Yes. So she has a certain relationship to violence.
Yes.
So whether she's attracted to that violence, whether she wants to understand what that violence comes from in any human being, because that's what she comes from. Whether she wants to, just take revenge.
The daughter of violence becomes a victim of violence.
Well, she's never a victim, actually, because that's what
so
really...
So to be a victim, you have to see yourself as a victim.
Sometimes you are a victim, no matter what, But she has this ability, in that story in particular, for that one situation, to acknowledge her as neither as a victim nor as the classical avenger, following a kind of male pattern, taking the gun and shooting the guy. She's more, she makes her own way.
It's like she's on a exploration.
Yes, and that's how exactly I took it. It's
as an exploration.
Exploration is a really nice word. I used to say like an experience.
Yeah.
The movie is and it was an experience for me as an actress too. I was really following what she was following in a way, in the sense that
you were discovering and exploring yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
As she was.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's most of the time that's what acting is about. As you do a role, you explore some situations and some behavior, and you do it together with your own fantasies.
Part of the quality of acting is understanding, your own exploration of the character.
Absolutely.
As the character's life proceeds from A to Z.
Exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it didn't escape the rule in that case.
We're not giving too much away to say she has a relationship with her rapist.
No, that's what happens. And
what is it? Was that just the plan, or more?
Well, I think that she's.
Was there attraction?
Attraction, a sense of revenge too.
Yeah, of course.
But
revenge.
she doesn't name it that clearly.
Or did she enjoy the revenge, so to speak, beyond?
Well, at least she did not. I think she enjoyed the revenge, and well, I don't want to unveil the end. That would be unfair for those who haven't seen the film yet.
Right.
But I think the ending of the film, that's what gives to the film its integrity, I would say. Because the film has a great integrity.
What's the integrity of the film?
Well, the integrity is the sense that, there is something of a kind of a existential quest in the way things happen for her, and there is an integrity in the film, in the sense, in the way that Verhoeven handles the story. You know, it is a non-emotional character. If the character was emotional, I think the movie would be really kind of creepy.
Does the contribution that the director makes, the most important contribution, in the edit room, on the set, or in the text?
A little bit of everything. Obviously, the editing is a crucial moment in the making of the film.
And it differs with different directors.
Yes.
Some are better in the editing room than they are on the set.
But it's also the way, I think it has a lot to do with how much a director is able just to watch his actors live, and how I mean, a director is a first spectator to his own film, I think. He's not only making the film, he's also watching the film.
He's the first viewer.
Yeah, he's the first viewer. And he has to be constantly, to be the one who does it and the one who watches it. And to watch it means to be active and passive at the same time. Because as you watch it, you let things happen.
Okay. Did Paul help you understand how to interpret this character? Or based on what you've already said to me, had you not interpreted her, you simply were exploring who she was?
Well, I think he watched me exploring her, and we never had any discussion about that character.
You never sat down and said,
no.
He wouldn't say to you, how do you see her?
No, I would have been very embarrassed. I mean, that was a really indiscreet question to ask.
That would
how do I see her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't want to know how you. That would be indiscreet. It would be insulting. It would be embarrassing.
It would be embarrassing. It would be disturbing. I would feel like, please.
That's who I am.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me questions.
Because I am Isabelle Huppert, and that's who I am, an actress, and I will.
No, I'm not that sure of myself. Just.
You're not.
Well, yes, I am in a way, and I'm not. I mean, just because I think it would be the worst thing to do for a director to ask her actress or actor, how do you see? I think.
Oh.
I think it's doing movies is also a kind of unconscious and mysterious process. You have to let things happen, and also the movie has a life of its own. Also, sometimes you are being told by the film itself. It's very organic. The film has its own movement, and
the movie tells you stuff.
Yes, of course. It's all about trust, and cinema is such a strong, strong strength. I was going to say.
Has a strength.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of this pleonasm, but and it goes by itself, and at some point you just have to be led.
You have said a couple of things. One, you've said you did not understand her when you first saw this text, which makes sense in terms of everything else you said. That I assume that's rather appealing. To read a character you don't quite understand, because that makes it even more interesting for you as an actress.
Yes, Robert Bresson, or John Toto, who was giving me this award last night, he quoted this line from Robert Bresson, who said that you when you do things, you don't know what you do, and this is inspiration when you don't know what you do. And I really believe in that. You don't have to know
why you're doing it.
No, you just it's a different kind of knowledge, Yeah. But you don't have to know by giving explanations.
Here's what you said about her in the New York Times Magazine. I'm not sure she decides anything. It's by instinct, intuition. It's almost blind.
Mm-hmm.
That's her.
That's a lot of people, I think.
And that's you.
And it might be you too. It's very human.
Yes. How is she different from the other character in Things to Come?
She is very different because the events are very different. Those are two completely different stories. Things to Come.
Different family members.
Different family members. In Things to Come, in L, I run a video game company,
right.
So I'm I have lots of people that I
manage.
That I manage, or I try in some various ways sometimes. And in things to come, I am a philosophy teacher, so I manage my young students too, you know. I believe in what I do. I believe in transmission. I believe in the world of ideas. Ideas which are the great quality of the film is that you show certain people of certain intellectual circles, you know. I mean, she's a philosophy teacher. But philosophy in the film is never abstract. Philosophy is a way, to watch the world sensually, to catch the beauty of the world, to give birth also to a new person through the events she goes through, because her husband leaves her, her mother dies, and she finds herself being a new person. And this is through her understanding of the world. This is through her, not only her intelligence, but
her husband leaves her, her mother dies.
And her children leave her too.
And she has something that happens to her career too.
And her publisher don't want to publish, you know, her book anymore. Yes, because they want to rejuvenate the collection of books, you know. Yeah. And with this, you know, modern tendency to make it younger, to make it more accessible. Here's
what you said about her, talking as you did earlier to me. Philosophy is more like a project of life. It leads to Natalie's sensitivity to beauty, her sensitivity, of course, to intelligence, to ideas. It gives joy to her. And a few quotes from philosophical texts that run during the film just makes you think about very simple things like, do we need people? Or how can we be happy? That's what philosophy most of the time in the simplest conception of the world is about. Mm-hmm. So you have a deep interest yourself in philosophy. There are a lot of philosophers in France anyway, in Paris.
No,
Paris is full of them.
Well, everywhere.
I know.
But yes,
but
in me as film, you know,
yes,
what?
You are a philosophical person. You ask yourself about meaning.
I think everybody has, you know, ask himself question, what am I doing here? Yeah, where am I going? I mean, these
but I mean, you seem to be more deeper questions than...
Well, I seem, but I'm not.
You're not what?
Well, I'm not this thinking person.
You're not?
Not only. I wish sometimes.
That you're more of a thinking person.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the film you see someone who is comforted by that, you know. And
so
she says
that part of her personality.
Oh, yeah. I think she you know, at some point she says, I'm completely fulfilled by my intellectual life. I think it's beautiful. It's nice.
More than fulfilled by Are you more than fulfilled by your acting life?
Well, but my acting life has a lot to do also with my thinking life, you know.
You said, I'm an actress from the roots of my hair to the tips of my toes. I know exactly what it means to suffer for a character, to hate a character, to love a character. Although as an actress, it's completely different. You don't suffer the same way the spectator suffers. When you suffer as an actress, you don't suffer. You have pleasure.
I think so. Yeah, it's two different jobs. I know it because I am a spectator.
Pleasure is suffering like the character?
No, pleasure is just
getting it right.
Doing it. Yeah. You know, it's nice to cry. It's nice to shout. It's really nice to suffer as a character, not as a person. I'm not masochist, but as a character, it's really nice. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing to do with, you know, people sometimes think that, you know, about identification and that you take the suffering from the character. I don't think so.
What do you do?
Well, I do it, and I have pleasure doing it. You know, when I'm on stage, I have pleasure.
Oh, you have pleasure doing it because it is a mark of the talent that you have. You know, it's about.
Well, even if I did it badly, I would still have pleasure.
I bet you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. If you did it badly, you wouldn't get much pleasure from it, would you? Because you would know. No, you would know. I can't imagine that you would.
I'm not sure I would know.
You're not? You're really not?
Maybe I'd better not know.
Well, no.
Otherwise.
Don't you know? Don't you know when you nailed it, when it's beyond?
It's not really something I ask to myself, you know. I don't think that, you know, when you do a movie or you work every day, you don't, you know, wonder, am I good? Am I bad?
What do you wonder?
I think you just feel that you are at the right place every day, and that's my feeling. I feel legitimate when I do it.
But you felt like that for a long time.
Yeah, I guess ever since I started being an actress.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's two. I mean, to have these two films out there and to receive the recognition.
It's great.
Thank you.
Thanks
Isabelle
to you.
Huppert, thank you for joining us. See you next time.